Today, I'm bringing you the top 10 cheap defenders in FC24. Every single player under 250,000 coins. You won't see the likes of a Reece James or a Grimaldo, a Bastoni, a Bacha. We did not focus on SBC players on purpose. They're no longer available. I'm not gonna waste your time. I want you to make pickups, the players to be accessible. And I saw the comment section, so I'm making sure that we deliver the goods for all of you. If you're down with the movement, make sure to drop a like, subscribe. It is free to do so. As for honorable mentions, and we're coming in quick fire, I have Lucy Bronze, 91 overall. Getting a lot of stats for good value. A couple 100,000 coins. I actually prefer as more of a holding mid, but I believe she deserves a mention. Cannavaro, SBC, 91 overall, 270,000 coins from an SBC pricing perspective, which we should take into consideration. It's a little bit different. Knock this out. You've got plenty of the fodder. Cannavaro is back to being at his saving grace, an Italian you can count on. A Brazilian with a track record. We have Cafu, and I would still highly recommend the 92 or the 94, but the 91 overall has a certain level of expertise, under 200,000 coins. Not a bad return of investment. Maatsen, Dortmund, massive upgrade. Sometimes they're not that authentic. He reminds me of a left back variation of almost a Frimpong-esque type of fullback. You can give me your thoughts in the comment section, but under 100K. Last but most certainly not least, I've got Theo Hernandez, the 88 overall. He's got plenty of experience. Most of you have struggled to afford some of his upgrades, but the 88 has been one of the most frequently used fullbacks in the game. At number 10, we have one of the most overpowered players throughout FIFA history. I've got Raphael Varane. He's sort of elusive, even though the stats don't suggest that that could be possible. He has that extracurricular. There's something special about Varane and the way that he dictates what's happening on the virtual pitch. Under 100K, 6'3", medium-high work rates, just a bruiser. And the stats, they don't always make sense. You can find players that fill up the stat sheet with more greens, but they're not necessarily better than Varane. And I do believe he's getting caught up to, but as it stands and what he's already accomplished, the principle and the foundation is right. And you get a teaser of almost every play style. At number 9, we have another Frenchman. We're looking at Kimpembe, also known as Kimpembro, I think. Technically another player with such a precedent of overpowered, high-end, disruptive, virtual pitch experience. Maybe the French will be a theme. Good size with 5-star skills, because why not? I'm not sure you're going to take max advantage of that additional expression, but you can get out of trouble. The dribbling, the facilitation, it does play a factor. But overall, you've got the pace, you've got the defending, and you've got the physical to go with easy link-up play and a discount shopping price tag. Bruiser with a thumbs up, and he's never tired when we're talking about relentless. Number 8, and we're keeping a similar theme. And it would not be a Dirty Mike official video talking about defenders if we didn't have Bomb Pastor. She has to make an appearance. There needs to be a mention, certain level of praise and appreciation. She's done so much for us. I'm not saying she's outdated, but of course, if you can afford the upgrade, go after it. It's a big reason that this version of Bomb Pastor had a price reduction. Greens everywhere, plenty of facilitation, movement on point, dribbling responsive, defensive chase back, switch the pitch, overlapping runs. I can go on with complimentary praise around Bomb Pastor. And she scored a lot of goals for the club. It's gotta be said. And it's always a nice touch when you have relentless in the physical, because as you near that 90th minute or going into extra time, you cannot afford for your defenders, especially your fullbacks, to look lost, to be tired. It's gonna be an issue. Number 7, we've got Vidic. Manchester United fans will be proud. The man has been bench pressing, and I just packed this iteration in particular and played the last weekend league with Vidic, and I felt more confident than ever. Not the quickest, not the best facilitator, but when you talk about natural physical nature, 6'3", again with the medium-high work rates, the physical, the defending, unparalleled. I would hate to be a Vidic opposition if he ever goes into UFC. Old school defender, they don't make him like Vidic anymore. To add some insult to injury, EA gave him an aerial for a playstyle plus. He is defending every set piece, He is winning every 50-50. If it's in the air, forget about it. At number 6, we have the undervalued Lucio. Or at least that's how I'm feeling. 70,000 coins, give or take, for a hero that has laid claim to being one of the best center backs throughout multiple iterations. And your ROI, the return of investment, top tier. Lucio still strikes fear. He's got those long legs that just lock on to anything. He's a honing device, if you will, as a center back. You're not turning him quickly, kind of underrated with the dribbling, maybe goes under the radar. And as will be a similar statement or sentiment, if you've got big dollar signs, you might not have clicked on this video, but you can make the upgrade. At least half of these players, if not more, have an upgradable item that will just cost you additional bankroll. But by all means, if you can make it happen, Captain, go sail across the sea. Nothing that jumps off the page when it comes to the play styles, but you know what Lucio's about. Number 5, and I did not expect this to be a conversation we had this year, but Jurgen needs to have some input because he's got plenty of output. Never was used before this upgrade. He gets even better. 6'1", 3-star skills, 4-star weak foot, but look at the stats. 80 plus across the board. You name it, he has it. This Golasso item is getting people excited. You're out of your seat. You're standing up. You're sitting down. You're re-upping on the popcorn. You're putting the man into motion. I saw him this weekend. He was getting PT throughout the rivals, block, and anticipate. We know how anticipate gets down. You see the raccoon or the fox or the big cat, whatever that image is, you know what to expect. At number 4, Premier League, Konate, big body type, 6'4". You're gonna hear him coming. AI recovery, A1 steak sauce. I'm not praising it, it's just an observation. There you have it. Lengthy, which I still don't like saying out loud. I don't think that was the best branding for the acceleration type when EA released those. A lot of sprint speed, a lot of defending, an overabundance of physical. Bruiser, yes sir. Relentless, indeed. And he's French. I don't have a counter for the video, but it seems as if nearly half of our selections are French players. Oh yeah, Konate, 60,000 coins. Number 3, Vincent Kompany. We're going back to the hero movements. 6'3", never losing anything in the air. One of the highest IQ defenders in world football, in my humble opinion. The stats are the stats. I don't think we need to do a heavy analysis. Does have that anticipate plus. If you can get yourself a hero as they upgrade, it's noticeable in my opinion. The majority of the early heroes have been surpassed then by the UEFA heroes, and now even those have been pushed back by the purple or the pink, and Vince has one of those in rotations, again, if you're willing to come out the pocketbook. It's going to be a much heavier investment. At number 2, and I did not expect this, might be a surprise. We've gone with an SBC, we've got Money Marquez, the Mexican international, well technically he's been retired. And he's going to cost you maybe 300,000 coins as an SBC pricing. So this is the highest or most expensive player of anyone by far. But because you can insert players as a trade, I still felt that it should fit into a cheap option or a cheap selection. And he's still available. Don't play him as a midfielder or a holding midfielder, play him as a center back. Clearly his best position. And most importantly for this video, and even our future videos, he can play as a center back organically. We will never include players on these types of lists that can't play within the position parameters from a natural standpoint. Does that make sense? We use a lot of words. They have to be able to play the position. That's the point that I'm making. 6 foot tall, medium high work rates, 3-star skills, 4-star weak foot, greens everywhere. In many ways, he now becomes an elite passer, an elite dribbler, elite with the reactions for a center back, where he would end up being somewhat stiff for a traditional center mid. You could still play him there. I just believe you get way more out of Marquez as a center back, and preferably almost a supporting center back. I like him alongside one of those big brawly types, because Marquez isn't the biggest player, isn't the widest, but there are guys that you know are just built with that. Sam Solik goes to the gym on a daily basis. That's not necessarily going to be Marquez. And as for popular demand, I see him all over the virtual pitch. He's got an anticipate plus. When I do this, I think of, what's up, brother?
What's up, brother?
It's not a good impression, but if you've been watching Sketch, he's going everywhere. Special teams and special plays. And at number 1, it's clear cut. If you want a steak, you go to a steakhouse. If you want an overpowered, dominant defender, you go get yourself Virgil van Dijk. And you can pick a few versions. I'll start out with the 89 because it's going to cost you 20,000 coins. And I used them this past weekend. Still official. Intercepts, body checks, breaks up plays, wins everything in the air. It does not make sense. But that's Virgil van Dijk. And you might question, what do you mean it doesn't make sense? Sure, he's an 89. Doesn't have the skills. Should be clunky, but he's not. He shouldn't be that fast, but he is. Maybe he should lack some physicality or some defensive error, but he doesn't. And I'll say this as well. When it comes down to Virgil van Dijk, if you can afford the 89, which you can, easy pickup. If you want the Virgil van Dijk Euro, I think he's 150,000 coins. If you'd like the inform, I think he's came down to 250. If you can get the winter wild cards, go for it by all means. He's that good. And we don't even speak the words around the team of the year. He doesn't come into the equation because no one can afford him. I leave him off the majority of the list that I make. Just because if it's about coins, less than the 1% has access to that upgradable, dominant, unstoppable, unmovable force known as Virgil van Dijk. We are still crossing off the team of the year. And in my mind, he has to be deserving of all the recognition. You're let me know in the comments as per usual. What players did I potentially leave off? If you have questions around defenders and who you should use, you give me the list. I'll give you my opinion. I'll give you my answer, my reply in the comment section. And as always, we'll have a lot more content coming out ASAP.